What's up YouTube, this is Evilboy with another knife review, and this time I'd like to show you another outcome of the collaboration between Rick Hinderer and Zero Tolerance, better known as the Zero Tolerance 0550. This knife was released in early 2012, around the same time as the eagerly expected Zero Tolerance 0560, which is also a Hinderer design. So basically Zero Tolerance were competing with themselves. On top of that, the first generation of the 0550 had some flaws, like an extremely tight detent and a very stiff locking bar. As a result, the knife received an update to fix these problems, and this is it. It's the updated second generation of the 0550. First, let's go quickly over the specifications. The blade length is 90 millimeters, and the handle length is 150 millimeters, which makes it an overall length of 205 millimeters. And the weight is 175 grams. All measured out by myself, by the way, as it is unclear if the manufacturer's data refer to the first or second generation version. When you pick up the knife for the first time, you'll notice what a massive chunk of metal it is. The handle is made of 5mm thick titanium scale on one side and a black G10 scale on a steel liner, which is also 5mm thick on the other side. The G10 has a good grippy texture as well as a milled out pattern, which in combination provides extremely good traction. I heard some folks on YouTube complain about the looks of it, however I like it because it performs so well. Let's take a closer look to the titanium side. This is the part of the knife with the most updates. First, the cutout of the lock bar is on the outside rather than on the inside like on the first generation, and the piece that's left is extremely thin. It's less than a millimeter. Well, of course this was a reaction to the tight detent and the stiff lock bar, but I'm not sure if they overdid it on this part. Not that I have experienced any problems with the lock as of now, but it's such a huge contrast to that otherwise massive construction. It made me go, But as I said, everything's still fine. Lock disengagement and detent strength are very smooth. The jimping on the locking bar is also a little protruding, which makes disengaging the lock even more easy. Speaking of jimping, there is quite an amount of it, and it works really well without being overly aggressive and irritating to your skin. The pocket clip has also been updated, being the same now as on the 0560 model. It is a deep pocket carry clip with decent strength, a very good choice in my opinion. However, you can see the two screws that keep the clip to the handle are aligned vertically. Unfortunately, on the G10 handle scale, the drill holes are aligned horizontally. What? Yes, I know the Generation 1 clip had horizontally aligned screws, but this is a severe lack of quality control, especially for a knife in this price range. My YouTube colleague Sven Cologne told me, however, that his 0550 had the same drill holes, but the old clip was enclosed in the box. Yeah, well, that's better than this, but still it makes me frown. Fortunately, I'm right-handed, so this doesn't concern me directly. So let's just say this was intended to be a fully ambidextrous knife. The knife is screwed together with black Torx screws. Unfortunately, 3 different sizes. The pivot screw requires a smaller bit, and the clip screws an even smaller bit. There is no backspacer, which allows for easy maintenance. Check out the steel liner, it is milled out a lot. I hope I can give you a good picture of that. And we have a very generous lanyard hole. This easily fits 2 strands of 550 paracord, very nice. Right here is the Hinderer lock bar stabilizer, a safety feature which prevents the lock bar from being overextended. Blade deployment is extremely smooth, although there is no ball bearing system installed like with the 0560. These are only phosphor bronze washers, but they work outstanding. There are two thumb studs, one on each side. No flipper like in the other Hinderer designed Kershaw and ZT knives. This is a bit of a downer for me because I like the flipper design very much, but with the smooth pivot and less tight detent, the thumb studs work just as fine. Now onto the blade itself. It is a drop point design with a swedge and a stone washed finish. The grinding is flat and the initial sharpness was frightening. The blade steel is the American S35VN, a powder metallurgic steel from Crucible. From my understanding, and I am by far no steel expert, this steel was developed as the successor to the well-known S30V steel, the VN denoting the content of vanadium and niobium. These two elements provide for the generation of both very fine grain and evenly distributed carbides, which as a consequence reduces edge chipping considerably. At least that's what the catalog says. I have yet to make experiences with the edge, as this is still a brand new knife for me, but so far the edge retains very good. So what's my overall conclusion about this knife? Well, I'm having a bit of a conflict here. Of course, the ergonomics are great and there's very high quality materials used, but the updated parts appear to me somewhat ill-conceived, especially the pocket clip part. So I'm a bit disappointed in terms of quality control, especially if a company names themselves Zero Tolerance, which I always considered a reference to the build quality and craftsmanship. But still, I like this knife for the beefy tool that it is. It's fun to work and to play around with, although it sure is overkill for most EDC tasks. And that finishes it for today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos, and if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put out videos on a regular basis. Thanks again, and see you around.